Hi friends, today we are continuing our series on how to build your own personal or professional workspace in Notion, including tasks and projects and documents and all these kinds of things and clients. And today I want to do something special. Today we're going to take all this data that we have put together and build that into a dashboard view that is easy for you to find what you're looking for, do actual work inside your Notion workspace, and also report or show some of the data that you're working on. So we have already in past videos, and if you haven't seen how we did this, you can just see in the links below, and I'll have those videos linked right there for you to access. But we've already put together all the databases that we're working on. So currently we're working with a clients database, a projects database, a task and a documents database. And these databases are stored here in our data vault, which means these are the actual databases that contains the data that we're working on. If you click on any of these, you'll see they'll open up with all the data and the relations. And if what I'm talking about now doesn't make any sense to you, please go and rewatch how we built this and how we put all of this together, so you'll get a deep understanding of how this works. Same with projects, tasks, all of those, but they are stored here in the data vault. And I just put a little note here for myself that says don't move or delete these databases, because if you move or delete these, your data are gone. Your data is gone. So what we do want to do is we want to build a dashboard view on a separate page that acts almost as a lens on that data that we can move around and can potentially move or delete without destructing or destroying any of our existing data. So that is what is super useful about a dashboard view. It means you can interact with the data without the danger of maybe losing it in some way. You can share it with people, and also you can create structured views that is useful for your use case or how you want to see the work that you're working on at any given point. So what I've done is I've already created a separate page here in Notion called Dashboard. If we go there, today we're going to quickly see how we can build a dashboard view with Notion's built-in dashboard functionality and do that with AI. So that's going to be fun. How we do that manually with tabs, views, filters, and sorts, and then potentially add buttons so that you can quickly add new items to your workflow. So the first thing we're going to do is just go to the empty spot here on our dashboard page, hit /, and then Notion has a built-in dashboard view of databases. So we're just going to start typing dashboard. You're going to find it there, and we're going to say new database dashboard. And now we have a couple of ways that we can go about setting this up. But I'm going to go straight to this first one saying build with AI, and you can get an idea of how that's going to work. So let's say build with AI. So it already populated here, build a dashboard for this database with useful charts and tables. But what I want to do is I want to add a couple of databases to this dashboard. So we're going to say build a dashboard for these databases. And what we're going to do is we're going to mention those databases. And so we'll be able to feed that to the Notion AI and be able to see what it does with that. So the first one is going to be our demo clients database. Then we want to also add our demo projects database. We also want to add our demo tasks database. And because we also want to have access to our documents, we're also going to see our demo documents database. And let's send that off and see what it does. All right, there you have it. So we have an auto-generated dashboard view, including all these databases right here at our fingertips. So let's see what the AI has done. It has given us a view for numbers, an overview here at the top for clients, projects, open tasks, and documents, and it'll show us how what those counts are. Clients by status, all our clients are active. That's good. Projects by status. So we have some that are active, some that are pending, no status, some projects are stalled. And then tasks due in the next 7 days. Tasks by status, that is interesting. We have all our active projects here. We have all our recent documents here. So now you'll see our dashboard is in edit mode. So if we click done, now our dashboard is formatted nicely. We can interact with the data. We can scroll this up and down. We can potentially open any of these elements here, interact with it, and everything is nice and neat. What we now can do is, let's just switch that back to edit mode, is we can keep editing this with AI. So say, for example, we don't want to see active projects as a list, but as a timeline, we can just prompt that in. I want to see the active projects component in the dashboard, not as a table, but as a timeline view. Excellent. So it changed the active projects view for me from a list to a timeline. And now I can manually also move some of these components around. I can, for example, take this component here, and then instead of it having shared a space here in a 2-column layout block with recent documents, I can just drag it here into its own column, make it a little bit wider, so I have a more detailed view on projects. On documents here, let's do the same with documents. I want documents also not to be displayed as a table, but as a gallery view. Let's send that off and see what it does with that. There you go. So we can now potentially take our active projects. It just moved it back there, I see. Put it down there. So now we have projects as a timeline, documents as a gallery. And if I close this AI window down and I go to the top and I say done, now we have a neat dashboard overview of all our projects, tasks, documents, and everything else. And we can quickly either report on it, or we can do the work that we want to do, have quick access to it. All these components in our dashboards are of course searchable. You can change the filters. If you want to see it in a different way, you can do that. And that is one way to quickly put a projects management dashboard together. If you do want to, however, have a more custom way of getting access to your documents, and you don't necessarily want as much as a number-based reporting type dashboard, there's another way to do it. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to just split our view into 2 columns so that we have a nice layout to work with. So we're going to hit / say 2 columns, and say, for example, we want to have on this side just a view of our clients, so we can quickly navigate to our clients. We're going to say / database. We want to have a, say, for example, a gallery view of our clients. So you can see now how it's split into this 1 column over here as well. We want to link to an existing data source. That should be our clients database. And we want to have a gallery view. That works nice. We're going to format it in a while, just a little bit later here. Let's for now just maybe do a call out here. / call out block. We're going to hit call out. This is not going to have an icon. We want to take our demo clients database and move it into the callout. We want to take our callout and move it into our 2-column layout here. Let's see if we can get that done. No, it deleted our 2-column layout. So we're just gonna, again, let's just do that here. Create our / 2-column layout and then move this full callout into that section. We're gonna change some of the formatting a little bit later. And then on the right hand side, we want to have a view where we can quickly switch between, for example, projects, tasks, and documents. And for that, we're going to add our tab blocks here, tabs right there. And this first tab, if you click on it, you'll be able to format it. We're going to call this projects, and we're going to add a, let's see if we can add an icon to this. Yes, we can. Icon is going to be our project icon. Add that there. The second tab here, we're going to rename it. That is going to be tasks, and we want to add a icon there as well. For icons, let's say this is tasks, and tab 3, that is going to be our documents tab. Documents tab. And we're gonna add an icon there as well. That is going to be documents. And this tab here, we are not gonna need that one. We're gonna delete it. So now we can filter or switch between these tabs and add content to each of those tabs that we want. So say, for example, in the projects tab, we wanna add a view of our projects as a timeline. So let's quickly do that. / database. Timeline view right at the bottom. We want to link to an existing data source. That should be demo projects. And there we have our timeline view there. Let's go to today. Let's filter back a little bit. There is our demo projects as a timeline. And we want to add this as, say, for example, quarters. So we can go to today again, and we can have quickly access to where does all our projects lie here in February, March. Let's move these to weeks, to today again. And so you can play around with this formatting and see how all of that plays out and how it works. There they are. These are all our projects according to their dates. Demo projects. We don't need this title anymore, so let's hide the title and let's change that formatting so we have access to all our projects here. What we can do, because this is quite a broad view, is we can change the sizing of our columns. So let's change this over to this. So we have all our demo clients over here. Let's add a heading here as well to say this is our clients. Let's change that to H2. Let's move that into our call out block here. Let's hide the title for this database. And let's just say this is, we're going to display this as icon only. And this is going to be, let's rename this. Let's change the icon to business. This is going to be clients. There we go. And we want to potentially, in property visibility for clients, we want to see this status as well. So we can see which clients are active, who are we working on, and let's hide that window. Yes, clients over there. And then over here, we have projects as timeline. And let's switch to tasks. Once again, we're going to go through the same process to add databases to each of these views. So tasks, we potentially want to see a Kanban board or a board view for tasks linked to an existing database. We want to see demo tasks. And there we have demo tasks as a board view. Let's see the property visibility. If we go to our contextual menu, hit property visibility, we want to see who the assignee is. We want to see what the project is, and we want to see what the due date is. We don't want to see the status because it's already on there. So we want to see the assignee, let's say the project, the due date, and the assignee at the bottom, or the due date at the bottom. There we go. So now we have access to all our tasks, and we want to see our documents as well. So once again, same process, hit /. We want to see documents as a table. This is a table view of an existing data source. This will be demo documents, and we have all our documents here. We're going to hide the title. Of our database. For tasks, the same. We're going to hide the title because we can see it starts right at the top, hide title. And now we have projects, tasks, and documents, all neatly sorted in a dashboard view. So let's say tabs, and we created views, and now we want to filter and sort. So for example, projects, you can change what those filters are. If we only want to see according to a specific date or a specific client, you can do that here. But let's do that with documents for now, and I'll show you how to sort documents. We want to, for example, see documents sorted according to when they were added. So we have the latest document created right at the top, the newest one. So we want to say sort according to date added, and we want to have it descend in date. So we can see these documents were added on April 15th, that is today, and we have all of them right here, right at the top. And then we could just click on the sort icon again to hide that sorting. And you can do that for tasks as well. It is now built into a Kanban board here, but we can do this as well. We can say, so what I want to do is I want to sort them according to their due date. And we want to have that ascending in date because we want to see the ones that are the furthest behind in their due date right at the top. So that is how we do that, and then hit on the view sort there again. And that is how we sort items in our database. So there you have it. You have clients all sorted nicely here at the left hand side, projects, tasks and documents that you can cycle through and have quick access to. Having access to a dashboard view here is useful, as I said in the beginning, in two ways. One, it gives you access to your information when and where you need it. And two, it provides a lens on data so that you can interact with the data and move it around without the fear of actually destroying any of the data or deleting any of it, because keep in mind, all this data is stored safely in our data vault. Our dashboard is just a view on that data. And that is two ways, whether it's with built-in dashboard functionality and AI or manually through filters and views and tabs, how you can potentially set up a workspace that you feel comfortable working in, that looks nice, is easy to operate, and that you can share with other people as well. So that is that from me for now. Look out for the next one. I'll see you soon.